The sound that didn't belong was a lawnmower. Ethan Cole stood ankle-deep in dry grass, sweat streaking dirt down his neck, staring across land his family had owned for 3 generations. The mower's buzz cut through the wind like a lie. No one was supposed to be here. No one could be here. He followed the sound past the old fence line, past where the ranch map in his head said there was nothing but scrub and stone. Then he saw the roofs. 50 of them. Identical. Beige. Perfectly spaced like teeth. A subdivision. On his ranch. A man in a neon HOA vest waved from a sidewalk that hadn't existed yesterday. "Sir, you can't be back here." Ethan laughed once, sharp and humorless. "I own this land." The man smiled and moved. "According to our records, you don't." That was the moment normal life cracked. Yesterday, Ethan had been worrying about water rights and a busted generator. Today, strangers were trimming hedges on property his grandfather was buried under. He drove back to the house, dust screaming behind his truck, pulled the original deeds from a rusted lockbox. Everything was clean, surveyed, filed, paid. Yet we tried to leave the ranch to get a lawyer in town. The road was gone. Not blocked. Gone. Where asphalt once cut through the hills, there was fresh gravel and a sign. Private community access. Residents only. A gate slid shut with hydraulic calm. Ethan stepped out. Phone pressed his ear. No signal. He walked until his boots hit concrete that smelled new. Security cameras tracked him silently. A woman approached, mid-40s, polished, clipboard hugged like armor. "Mr. Cole, welcome to Canyon Ridge Estates. You built a neighborhood on my land." She nodded. "Yes, that's illegal." Her voice stayed pleasant. "That's complicated." Behind her, kids rode bikes. Sprinklers hissed. Life, fully formed, like it had always been here. "Where's the exit?" Ethan asked. She glanced over her shoulder. "We're still finalizing infrastructure." That night, floodlights came on around the perimeter of his ranch house. Not aimed outward, aimed at him. Ethan sat at his kitchen table. Deed paper spread like a losing hand. His phone buzzed once. 1-bar signal. A text from an unknown number. "You should stop asking questions." Outside, the mower started again. By sunrise, Ethan Cole understood one thing clearly. Whatever had moved onto his ranch hadn't arrived overnight. It had been planned for years and designed to look boring. He started where the lie was loudest, from the ridge behind his house. Ethan studied the subdivision through binoculars. 50 homes, all variations of the same blueprint. Same beige siding. Same black SUVs parked in driveways, never moving at the same time. Lawns trimmed too evenly. No toys left out overnight. No trash cans rolling free in the wind. People lived there, but not like people usually did. Ethan marked patrol routes in a notebook. 2 security vehicles, staggered every 30 minutes. Cameras mounted low, angled inward, not toward the perimeter. Whoever built Canyon Ridge wasn't worried about outsiders getting in. They were worried about something getting out. He waited until dusk. The HOA office sat at the center of the neighborhood, glass-fronted and cheerful. Too cheerful. Ethan slipped in through the back door using a code. He'd watched the guard punch in twice. Muscle memory never lies. No alarm sounded. That bothered him more than anything else. Inside, the place smelled new. Plastic. Copier toner. Filing cabinets lined the walls, each drawer meticulously labeled. Permits. Zoning approvals. Environmental impact studies. All perfect. Too perfect. Ethan flipped through them quickly. Dates overlapped impossibly. Signatures belonged to officials he'd gone to high school with. Men who'd never approved something this big without half the county knowing. Forgery, then, or leverage. In the bottom drawer, locked, he found a single oversized folder. Inside was a site plan of his ranch, his fences, his well, his grandfather's grave, overlaid with bright red markings beneath the subdivision. A label caught his eye. E17 subsurface access. Ethan's throat tightened. His grandfather used to talk about government crews in the 60s. Men who showed up unannounced, drilled deep, paid in cash, and left no records. Emergency routes, he called them. in case the world ends. Ethan folded the map and left the office exactly as he'd found it. House number 23 sat directly over one of the red markings. That night, when the neighborhood lights dimmed in unison, Ethan slipped behind a house and pried open a storm drain. Beneath it, stairs descended, not rusted, not old, reinforced concrete, fresh wiring, active ventilation. The tunnel hummed with electricity. Voices echoed ahead. Calm, professional. Once the land transfer's finalized, coal won't matter. Another voice replied, colder. If he escalates, we neutralize. Ethan recorded everything, heart steady, hands not shaking. He backed out the way he came. When he surfaced, a soft mechanical whine filled the air. A drone hovered above him, red light blinking like an unblinking eye. Marianne, the HOA woman, stood at the curb, clipboard tucked under her arm. You're persistent, she said pleasantly. This is my land, Ethan replied. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. Not anymore. The next morning, a single paper was taped to his door. Eminent domain hearing. Today. Location. Canyon Ridge Community Center. They weren't hiding anymore. They were daring him to speak. In public. On their ground. With no way out. The Canyon Ridge Community Center smelled like fresh paint and manufactured optimism. Ethan stepped inside to polite applause. Folding chairs filled the room. Residents on one side, officials on the other. Everyone looked calm. Too calm. Like they'd rehearsed this moment without him. Marianne sat in the front row, legs crossed, hands folded over her clipboard. When she saw Ethan, she smiled the way people do when they already think they've won. The county commissioner took the podium. Today's hearing concerns the lawful transfer of land for public benefit. Ethan listened, eyes scanning exits. 2 security guards by the doors. Another near the AV table. No visible weapons. That didn't mean anything. Slides flicked on behind the commissioner. Happy families. Growth projections. Words like revitalization and community investment floated across the screen. Ethan raised his hand. A pause. Mild irritation. Yes, Mr. Cole? I'd like to submit evidence before you vote. Murmurs rippled through the room. Marianne's smile thinned. Ethan walked to the AV table, plugged his phone into projector. The screen went black. Then audio filled the room. Once the land transfer's finalized, coal won't matter. A sharp intake of breath somewhere in the crowd. Ethan tapped again. A second voice echoed, flat and controlled. If he escalates, we neutralize. The commissioner's face drained of color. Turn that off. Happy to, Ethan said calmly, right after this. Maps appeared, his ranch overlaid with red lines. Tunnel access points. Construction dates that didn't match permits. Forged signatures enlarged and highlighted. This HOA isn't community, Ethan said, voice steady. It's a cover. You built 50 houses to hide what's underneath my land. A woman in the audience stood. What's underneath? Ethan looked at Marianne. You want to explain? Marianne rose slowly. This is misinformation. A desperate landowner trying to stop progress. Ethan turned back to the crowd. Then why was the only exit road erased? Why are the cameras pointed inward? Why are there active tunnels beneath your homes? Panic broke the surface. People stood. Shouting overlapped. A security guard spoke urgently into his sleeve. That's when the first shot rang out. Not wild. Not loud. Precise. Glass shattered near the back wall. Screams erupted. Lights cut instantly. Too instantly to be an accident. Ethan moved. He grabbed the commissioner and dragged him behind the podium as another shot punched through drywall. Smoke bloomed. Emergency lights flickered red. This wasn't supposed to happen, the commissioner whispered, shaking. No, Ethan said. It was... Heavy boots thundered. Not local police. Black jackets. No patches. Marian backed to her side door, her calm finally gone. You don't understand what you expose. Ethan stood, phone raised, its screen glowing. It's live. She froze. Federal agents stormed in from all sides, weapons trained, voices barking commands. The shooters dropped. Residents were herded out, crying confused, furious. Marian bolted. She made it 3 steps before an agent tackled her hard enough to knock the air from her lungs. As she was cuffed, she looked at Ethan, not angry, afraid. Outside, sirens wailed. News vans rolled in like sharks. Ethan stepped into the daylight, phone still streaming, knowing one thing for certain. They hadn't planned on him surviving the meeting. By morning, Canyon Ridge no longer existed. Yellow tape sealed every entrance. Federal vehicles lined the streets where children had ridden bikes only days before. The identical houses stood silent, windows dark, lawns already beginning to brown without their perfectly timed sprinklers. Whatever life had been staged here was gone, stripped away in a single night. Ethan watched from the ridge as crews moved with quiet efficiency. The tunnels beneath his land were no longer a secret. Floodlights illuminated gaping access points as agents descended with equipment that looked more military than investigative. No one answered questions. They didn't need to. The evidence had already gone public. County officials resigned before lunch. The commissioner released a statement citing unprecedented deception. Ethan didn't read it. He didn't need apologies. He needed his land back. And by the end of the week, legally, he had it. The eminent domain ruling was voided. Deeds restored. The road reappeared, not magically, but with asphalt crews working to the night, as if trying to erase the embarrassment as fast as possible. Canyon Ridge Estates was renamed in documents as temporary development site, decommissioned. Temporary, Ethan thought. Nothing about it had been. Reporters camped near his gate for days. They asked about the tunnels, the gunfire, the woman named Mary Ann. "Do you feel like a hero?" one asked. Ethan shook his head. "I feel like an owner who read the fine print." The residents were relocated, some angry, some shaken, most confused. They bought homes believing in safety, normalcy, never questioning why the price was too good, why inspections were rushed, why everything felt new but hollow. At night, when the ranch finally went quiet again, Ethan sat on the porch with his grandfather's old rifle across his knees, more out of habit than fear. The land felt different now, like a body after surgery, alive but scarred. He walked the perimeter at dusk, stopping at the old grave beneath the cottonwood tree. "You knew, didn't you?" he murmured. "Or at least enough." The wind answered with silence. 2 weeks later, a plain envelope arrived. No return address, no postage stamp. Inside was a folded map, not of his ranch, of the United States. Red dots were scattered across it, dozens of them, some clustered near cities, others isolated, rural, forgotten, each marked with the same code, E17. A single note was clipped to the corner, typed impersonal. "You found one site. There are more. Some won't surface so cleanly." Ethan folded the map slowly, feeling the weight of it settle in his chest. He looked out across his land, quiet, open, his again, and understood the truth that no hearing or headline could erase. They hadn't been hiding from him. They'd been hiding among everyone. And somewhere out there, another road had already disappeared.